The Sinners is a Southern horror movie set over the course of a 24-hour period, and it's equal part blues, lots of blood, and Black culture. Now, I'm really excited to get into what worked with this movie, where it fell short, and my overall review on this movie. The Sinners is set in 1932 in Mississippi, the heart of the Delta. And we have two charismatic brothers, Smoke and Stack, both played by Michael B. Jordan. Now, they come back from their bootlegging hustle with Al Capone in Chicago, and they come back to the South with hopes of opening a juke joint. Now, they recruit their cousin Sammie, a preacher's son, with a gift for the blues. And we see him set out to wrestle hope, joy, and music from a land that is really scarred by Jim Crow and a sharecropper's toil. Now, the movie opens up with a very animated prologue. We get West African griots, ancient drums, before we are dropped smack dead in the middle of cotton fields, dusty back roads, and endless skies. Now, there's an obvious love here for the land and the people. I could feel it through the screen. And seeing the folks plow the fields, sharecroppers walking in, leaving, picking their cotton, the scent of magnolias under the hot sun, like you really could feel it, right? And what I found interesting is that it was painting the South as scenery, not so much as despair. I felt like it was honoring the landscape, honoring the birthplace of the blues, and honoring the Black American history. It was just very well done. That part of it for sure I liked. Now, I want us to get into the characters real quick because we have twins, Smoke and Stack, both played by Michael B. Jordan. Now, Smoke is the one in the blue, and with this character, we get a bit of tenderness with him as well. I think Michael B. Jordan did a great job giving him like this quiet magnetism, and he was very gentle with another character, Annie, but also he's very fierce when needed. And then Stack is the twin in red. Now he has the swag, okay? He has swagger. There's also a sense of danger. He laughs really easy, but he's quick to fight as well. So we get like a dual tone between these two. And we can see how, hey, they look alike, they're twins, but they have very different approaches to life and they walk different life paths as well. Also in the movie, we have Sammie, who I feel is really the heart of the film. Now, he represents innocence. He grounds the wild twins' behavior. And we see Sammie having to choose between church hymns or blues music. And I have to tell you, Sammie can sing. It was just very well done. I loved his character. He also gave us that coming of age story of the film, and I just really appreciated it. Now, I also want us to talk about Hallie, because Hallie's character is quite interesting because we see Hallie, a white woman who is caught between white privilege but Black kinship. And I felt like that added some style to it as well. We also have Annie, who is also a love interest in the film. We also see her and Smoke sharing this grief of losing a child, which I felt really added depth. I love also seeing Annie honor her hoodoo practice that was passed down to her from her grandmother, who she references a lot during the film. And I feel like that also gave the film lots of dimension as well. And while I don't have pictures, I also want to mention Grace and Bao Chow. Those characters were a reminder that the South it's not just black and white, it's beautifully diverse. So I really appreciated the addition of these characters as well. I also want to do another shout out for Delta Slim. I love that character so much. Again, very well done. Now, just as the party's getting going, the juke joint is alive, people are coming in. Now we have our vampire taking center stage. Our vampire is from Ireland. His name is Remick, and he turns this party into a bloodbath. Now, I really appreciated how vampire lore was honored throughout the film. We have the classic elements. We have the garlic, the silver, the stakes. But we also got some really fun, eerie elements. The glowing eyes, the memory-stealing bites, history just soaked into every drop of their blood. I love that. And as a result, we have this whole collision of like ancestor worship, monster mayhem, the final act of them kind of fighting it out. And it just really I felt it upped the ante a bit and it outpaced a bit some of the emotional themes that we were getting so far in the movie. Now, the movie has so many themes. A common one is home versus other. I loved the references of Chicago's skyscrapers holding no refuge from racism. Home is both a sanctuary and a battlefield. So it's like, this is what life is in Mississippi. Look, Chicago, Illinois, it's just skyscrapers, but essentially it's the same thing. I also love the ancestral connection. I love the blues as time travel. I really appreciated that. The fact that it could appeal to ghosts who are long gone, but also people in the future, and seeing Sammie's music bridge both past and future. I also love the themes of faith and freedom. I loved seeing hymns in church pews versus the music and the blues in the juke joints, and seeing Sammie having to make that choice. It really echoed deeper questions about, I felt, the true meaning of salvation. And of course, community and solidarity. I love the Chow's grocery store. I love, first of all, did you all notice there's one store on one side of the street, one on the other? But I love how they came together to support the juke joints opening. I also love Delta Slim and him in this position, and just really seeing like the alliances between different families and the community. It was beautiful kind of seeing the community solidarity. Now, as it relates to like visual, cinematography, soundtrack, it was beautiful. I had to be honest. Sometimes I forgot I was watching a horror film. It was beautiful. It was very well done. I felt it was very hypnotic. I felt the blues elements were beautiful. I love the dance scenes. I love the music scenes. Again, big, bold, very well done. Sometimes I forgot I was watching a horror. Now, some things worked, but some things not so much. So there were lots of threads in the movie. Okay, we have the romance. We have them trying to start this juke joint. There's some KKK tension. There's indigenous vampire hunters. There was a lot of different things going on. And then, of course, we had the final showdown. I felt the final showdown lacked the build-up it really needed to land that final blow. I felt the storytelling portions were good. I felt when it got into the vampire territory, that's when it really started to stumble. Personally, I would have wanted more of Remic's backstory, the Irish vampire. I would have loved to get more from him. I felt that was missing, but I fully acknowledge this was not about him, but I would have appreciated a backstory to a villain. I love a good villain origin story, if that makes sense. So overall, I just want to say I appreciated the film for what it was. I felt it was a love letter to the South, specifically the Black South. It was also part vampire horror. It gave us lots of imagination, empathy, great performances. And even when I felt the movie was spreading itself too thin, it had a strong heartbeat. I loved that it really honored the South in a really beautiful way. I also was haunted by Sammie's last note, the seeing smoke and stack side by side with the dawn light. Seeing Annie and the baby, it was just, there were lots of beautiful moments throughout that I could really appreciate. Now, I think this is perfect for fans of history. Lots of history in this one, blues and history. So if you're drawn to stories where music and memory collide, this is for you. If you love bold world building with myth and faith and horror, definitely perfect for fans of Black Panther and just the whole Wakanda universe. You'll really appreciate that. And the film is very reverent and asking us to reckon with a South that people often want to either forget or make caricatures of. This isn't it. I felt it really honored the South in a beautiful way. So I think if you can appreciate all these things, then this movie is just for you. Now, I would love for us to continue the conversation in the comments. Let me know if you have watched Sinners, if you're planning to watch it. Are you going to wait until it hits streaming? Let me know your plans. But also, if you've watched it, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What did you think about that final blues sequence, and seeing Sammie in the future? What were your thoughts? Did the vampires work for you? Did they leave you thirsty for more? Let me know the elements of the movie you loved, but also the parts that didn't work for you. And also just your thoughts on the representation of the Black American South. Now, if you haven't already, now's a great time to like the video, share the video, tell a friend to tell a friend about the channel, but also subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know what's new when I go live and when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.